Bulginaka, do you know that cybercrime is becoming a growing problem in Fiji?
Cybercrime is defined as a crime in which a computer is the object of the crime, such as hacking and spamming.
Cybercrime is also cyberbullying and using fake profiles to cause panic and spreading false news.
If you're involved in this or know anyone who's committing these crimes, report them immediately.
I'm Polly.
And I'm Peter.
We host the Traffic Jam Show on City FM.
From 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. every weekday.
Do the right thing.
In this bulletin, Kandavu drug war continues. Garbage clogged drains cause street flooding. And parents learn techniques to discipline children.
From the studios of FBC Suva.
Marijuana plants are uprooted from farms in Kandavu on a daily basis, says Acting Commissioner of Police Rusiate Tundravu. The police force has deployed 2 teams to the island so far this year as the war against drug continue. Sainiani Boiler reports.
The street value of these uprooted marijuana plants run into millions of dollars, but the acting police commissioner says no value can be put on the mental effect this drug leaves.
I don't normally talk about the value and the cost of marijuana because if you look at it from the human side of it, the generations to come, you cannot put a dollar sign on the effect of it on the whole population.
ACP Tundravu commended the efforts by the church leaders and village elders for providing information to help identify the farms.
And it's really encouraging to note that we are not fighting that battle alone. We are doing our part, and also the stakeholders and the community leaders, the church leaders are doing their part. So it has been successful so far. We start off with a bang in Kandavu, and there are the areas that we will be deploying our personnel in our fight against drugs.
Nasano Mbukelebu Kandavu Turangani Koro Iselenanga says youths in the village are frequently being reminded that marijuana is illegal and its effects are severe.
When we have our village meeting, I always remind the villagers, especially youths, that the cultivation of marijuana is illegal. I always remind them of the effects of marijuana. I have also scheduled farming programs for them to keep them busy and turn away from marijuana cultivation.
Police recently raided farms in Keasinavosa and in the Northern Division as well, following tip-offs from the public. Sainiani Boila, FBC News.
One of the most common problems leading to flooding in major towns and cities is blocked drains, an issue that remains unsolved for some time now. The Suva City Council says this has become a recurring issue as people are carelessly dumping rubbish which is clogging their drainage system. Special Administrators Chair Isikeli Tikonduandua says they have been able to identify areas prone to flash flooding.
The major area that we are concerned about is in the low-lying areas, especially the Patuanga, Domain, Nesese, Schooner Road, and part of the Patuanga towards Rifle Range, that area.
Parents are now being trained on how to discipline their children without resorting to physical punishment. Save the Children Fiji has received interest from communities to take part in the Parenting Without Violence program. Chief Executive Shamima Ali says so far 10 communities have completed the program. The training will equip parents on how to better engage their children.
The training's focus was to provide skills to parents to address children's development issues and looks at providing alternative forms of being able to discipline children without resorting to violence.
We are seeing children are emotionally, physically and sexually abused, and particularly a lot of physical abuse, and those are the reports also we're getting in the communities. And what happens is that children learn violence, and it is a horrible, it's against their human rights. It's, it's torturing children, beating them up and things like that. So it's really important that programs like this go out into the wider community.
The Fiji College of General Practitioners has come across some patients who are given medications without a prescription, and pharmacists are cleverly not labeling them. President Dr. Ram Raju has stressed that antibiotics and other host of drugs should not be dispensed over the counter without a prescription. Self-prescribing without medical advice is far too dangerous, and this practice should cease immediately. Dr. Raju says irrational prescribing of drugs is dangerous, which leads to various complications.
It is an illegal practice they should not ever dispense any medication without proper labeling.
A small settlement in the Cane Belt area of Sianganga is seeking assistance in the upgrading of their private road and construction of a footbridge for the sake of the children. Tambirua settlement is located about 13 minutes from Sianganga town, and the children still have to walk several kilometers to catch the school bus. Eleanor Turangaview has more.
It's barely 7 a.m. and these children from Tambirua settlement in Sianganga are ready for their daily 2.5-kilometer walk to catch the bus to school.
It is like this daily. Unless the river overflows, then they don't go to school.
The first hurdle is crossing this makeshift bridge, which can be unsafe during wet weather conditions like today. School shoes in hand, off they go trotting down the muddy road. The light drizzle is not stopping these children from going to school.
When it rains, we ask them, but they still insist on going to school. So we pack their uniforms, they walk through the main road, and they wear their uniforms once they get to school.
It takes approximately an hour for these children to walk from home to the main road. They reach school at 9 a.m.
Vehicles only come here during good weather. When it rains, they refuse to come here at all.
The road condition has been made worse by the current weather situation. The residents are asking for government's help for a proper road.
We are pleading, if our road can be fixed and our bridge built for our children.
FBC News has raised the requests and concerns with the Sianganga District Office as well as the Office of the Provincial Administrator Madhuwata, who have confirmed they are aware of their plight and are looking into their request. Eleanor Turangaview, FBC News.
The Bread Bank Fiji has made a donation of $112,500 to the Prime Minister's TC Yasa Relief Fund. This is to help in rehabilitation effort in affected communities. Chief Executive Charles Gillett says their donation is in recognition of the significant financial need to rebuild damaged homes, schools and infrastructure. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama, while receiving the donation, says it will assist those Fijian families who were badly affected by the cyclone. And turning overseas, the United States reported a 21% drop in new cases of COVID-19 last week, and deaths fell from their peak. Up ahead, Uprising 7's pools drawn. And ample time for Lambasa to prepare for CVC.
Oira na ngone no de nunu enda bisi ni mataka.
Mersusunga da kena loma dina kilo mikron.
Sakena ngau na mitaro bina nora baksangai kapala loma takina ngone. Dalabina oya o meliki.
Bulre oya o Samuel Samuli.
Nama kikira enda be mataka.
Oniti kina makarombuka.
Ni waitiri kalima na miniti me ona kina tiri na kaloko. Ena Radio Fiji One nandomo ibiti.
Inda na mataka dan ramai na singabo.
Two Fiji Sevens teams have been drawn in the tough pool for the Uprising Sevens tournament this weekend. Gareth Baber's first national team is pooled with Uprising, Cross of Victory and Vayasana Providers in Pool A. The second national team is in Pool B with Tambandamu, Olinakau and Fire. Super 7 Series defending champions Police is pooled with Yamadhia, Dominion Brothers and Windroso Brothers. In Pool D is Rati Felice, Lami Cavaliers, Army and Wardens. Tournament organizer Ropate Kauvesi says the Uprising Sevens is giving teams who missed out on the Super Series last week to showcase their talents.
With the game as well being televised live across the world through pay-per-view on Walisi app, it gives agents across the world to watch these games. So you may not be selected in the Fiji side, but you can be selected in one of these teams overseas.
The Kaiviti Silktails are now in fit form for the rest of the Ron Messi Cup season, which was suspended prematurely last year due to the pandemic. The side will be leaving our shores soon to set camp in Sydney. The team yesterday presented their itatau to the President of Fiji as they prepare to leave for the land down under. Fiji National Rugby League Chief Executive Don Natambe says the postponement of the competition last year was a blessing in disguise. Natambe says despite the challenges brought about by the pandemic, the team is finally ready.
Now get that level of exposure. It's a pity that it's only months away from the World Rugby League World Cup, but nonetheless, I know that during this short period, the players will now have to make up for time lost.
The postponement of the Pele Garments Champion versus Champions has been a blessing in disguise for defending champions Lambasa. Now that the CVC will take place next week, this has given the Bambasing Alliance ample time to prepare against Suva. The CVC was scheduled for Friday and Sunday at Ratithakambo Park in Osori, but depending on the availability of ANZ Stadium, Fiji FA could shift the first CVC match to Suva. Head coach Ronil Lal says though the capital side has lost some of its key players, they will be coming out a stronger team.
I think so. This postponement has given us some more time to prepare. But again, it depends all on the weather. Will the grounds be available or not? That's another thing. But again, this time, I think so. We'll use this vital time properly and try and work on other strategies for the game.
A trough of low pressure remains slow moving over the northern parts of the group. Meanwhile, a shallow low pressure system lies to the southeast of Vanua-Levu embedded along the trough. And that's your FBC Morning News. Do join us at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good morning.
हमारे खूबसूरत देश फिजी में चाइल्ड अब्यूज की घटनाएं आए दिन बढ़ रही हैं।
क्यों बच्चों का मासूम बचपन अब्यूज का शिकार हो जाता है?
अपने बच्चों की सुरक्षा का खास ख्याल रखें।
उनसे बातचीत करें, उनके दोस्तों के बारे में जानें।
आज के बच्चे देश का भविष्य है। मैं दीप्ति
और मैं मोनिश,
आपके हमसफर। शामिल हो जाए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे
5:45 AM से 10 AM तक
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर।